What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're gonna pick up where we left off on the last vlog, which I believe we're gonna start installing our bearings, hubs, and all that. Just as a heads up, a majority of the video is voiceover. I just wanted it to work, guys. Honestly, I just wanted to put the phone and just go to work. I'll do the voiceover. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, don't go anywhere, guys. Enjoy the video. All right, guys, so picking up where we left off on the last vlog, we're gonna start the whole installation process on the rear trailing arms and front knuckle slash hub assembly. So rear trailing arm, driver's side, spindle, hardware, a little bit of heavy duty grease in case we need it. So yeah, other than that, let me put you guys on a time lapse. I'm gonna do the voiceover and basically explain to you how to install the hardware and all that. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. In this portion of the video, we are replacing the T50 Torx bit bolts that hold the rear spindle to the RTA. We replaced them with 10.9 flange bolts. Make sure you use a little bit of blue Loctite on those bolts. And the torque spec for the spindle to RTA is going to be 42 foot-pounds for all 4 bolts with blue Loctite. For the 19 millimeter spindle nut in the back, I torqued that to 95 foot-pounds. I could not find the torque spec for some reason, so I ended up torquing it to 95. I feel like since it's not a bearing, it shouldn't mess it up. So I torqued that to 95. Do not use Loctite on those. So the small ones are 42 and the big one in the back is 95. All right, for this portion of the video, we are going to be installing our rear trailing arm bushings. I like to put a little bit of heavy duty or high temp grease inside of the rear trailing arm and also around the bushing. In my opinion, anything that helps that bushing go in, knowing that it's such a pain in the ass to go in, it helps, right? Oh, and then another thing, make sure that the bushing, the longer portion of the bushing, goes inward. It has to go in. The shorter portion that I'm holding is on the outside. Make sure you do that correctly, because if you don't, you're gonna have to remove your bushing. You're gonna have to reinstall it. And if you've ever installed or uninstalled these, you know how much they're a pain in the ass, and you do not want to redo them. All right, so anything helps. So I'm gonna show you my MacGyver trick, how to put it together. So this is the actual tool you need, which is called the jaw puller. But I guess it's supposed to be some sort of like Honda, Acura type of tool to press them in. So what I did, I got a 2 jaw puller, I got a metal bracket, I got one of the cups that came in the which kit, and one of these kits over here, which I think it's going to be the lower ball joint kit. I got one of those cups, set it on top of the bushing, then with the metal, then the 2 jaw puller, and basically put it around your control arm and start pushing it through. I'm sorry I didn't show you guys this part, but it's butchered. I'm gonna need to paint the other arm. This is how I did it. I suggest maybe you guys get the actual tool or use a press. If you use a press, you'll be fine. You don't gotta worry about this, but this is what I did. You guys can choose to do this or not, but with the actual correct tool. I don't have it, so this is what I did. I'll show you guys how they turn out. I kind of showed you how I put the bushing in. So that's the one that's the second one that I did. The one that I got perfect. I didn't hit the control arm or nothing, or the rear trailing arm, I mean. But if you look at this one, I had to repaint it because I smacked it a couple times, like in the bottom of the bushing, like around there. When I was trying to put the bushing kind of rolled down and it scratched the shit out of it right there. But here we are, guys, freshly painted, Since I couldn't find the OEM ones, I went ahead and painted the rear brake dust shields. I already got them primered, gloss black, and clear coated, high temp clear coat. So they're all done. Now let's move on to pressing our bearings and hubs into the front knuckle assembly, plus the hub for the rear trailing arm. So let me go ahead and put you on time lapse and show you how to do that. I told you guys I was gonna move to pressing the bearings in the front knuckle. I decided to install my rear dust shields and my hubs. So it's very easy, guys. All you're gonna do is just put 4 brand new 10s. Make sure that it's below 60 millimeters. And that's how it is. So now I'm just gonna put you guys on the time lapse and install the hubs. The nut, the castle nut, is torqued to 134 foot-pounds, and then make sure you smack it down in the middle where the little notch is so it doesn't back out. So let me put you guys on time lapse and finish up these rear trailing arms. We put our dust shields, we put our 410s, then we put our hub, we put our, what is it, castle? No, it's not a castle nut, or spindle nut. Put the spindle nut, 134 pounds, put our bushing. So now all that's left is to mount up our brake caliper bracket with brake caliper, our rotor, make sure everything still fits. And then now we're gonna move on to pressing the bearings into the front knuckle with the hub. So let's go ahead and transition over to that. Okay, so moving to the front knuckle assembly, just like the rear trailing arms, make sure you use a little bit of high temp grease, just a little bit like I showed right there. It's not, you don't need a lot, right? Just put a little bit on the lower ball joint also, anything helps. So now let's go ahead and put our lower ball joint, just insert it into the knuckle, into the lower knuckle portion, and then you're gonna grab your lower ball joint installation tool. So you get this cup that fits right under your ball joint. Then you gotta get the cap that fits on top of that cup, right? And make sure that it fits correctly. Make sure that the ball joint's gonna clear. Then install your, what was it, C-clamp, and it's ready to basically, either you're gonna use an impact wrench or impact gun, or you're gonna use a wrench. I was not about to use no damn wrench. I use an impact gun. So while you're installing it, pay attention to the top portion of the lower ball joint. You don't want to overpress, but at a certain point it should stop because the top of the ball joint mushrooms out and you shouldn't have any issues. So I believe, just be careful, okay? Just be careful. I don't want you guys watching my video and then messing up your part, coming back to me and saying, why didn't you tell us this and that? Just be careful. Pay attention to it. Once it bottoms out, stop, okay? Then you do not want to forget, aftermarket ball joints have a C-clip, just like that one right there. But what I found weird was that OEM does not even come with C-clips. I mean, the cars were made in '94, so they probably didn't even think about C-clips. But aftermarket lower ball joints should have C-clips. All right, guys, so we put our lower ball joint, our C-clip. So now let's go ahead and install our wheel bearing. For your wheel bearing, make sure that the metal portion, you notice how one side's rubber, one side's metal. Make sure the metal portion goes down like that. When it's there, you're gonna get this piece that goes right there. Then you're gonna get those two cups like that, the top, put it on the other side, put that through, put that on the other side, and tighten it, and it'll go in. All right, so let me go ahead and set you guys up and show you how to do it. All right, let's go ahead and start with installing our bearings. Make sure, once again, you use high temp grease on inside of the knuckle where the bearing's going, and also the bearing. Next, for the kit, make sure you get this size cup that fits in the back with that size cap. You need that rod, obviously, that comes in the kit. Make sure it fits perfectly in the back. Next, you're going to want to grab your bearing and the other cap that fits perfectly around the bearing. You don't want to get anything smaller or anything bigger. Make sure it's perfectly aligned on top because you will mess up your bearing. Make sure you get this final piece, screw it on, and I believe the socket size for that final piece is going to be a 32 millimeter socket. Obviously, you're going to be using an impact gun. If you're using a wrench, it's going to take you a long ass time to install it, but get your 32 millimeter socket, impact socket, whatever. Doesn't need to be impact, you can get a regular socket. Get your impact gun, put your hand on the knuckle assembly, make sure it's not going to go anywhere, and start installing the bearing. Be careful installing the bearing. You don't want to mess it up. I believe they're like $100 for the pair. You don't want to mess it up, okay? Just make sure it bottoms out on the other side of the knuckle assembly and that everything is still intact. I almost forgot to tell you guys, you need to install or reinstall your C-clip onto the top of the bearing. You will know if the bearing is perfectly installed because that C-clip will just go into the little slot it's supposed to be in. You guys, it's gonna go in right away. If you're having a hard time putting your C-clip and going into it, that means either the portion where the C-clip goes into is messed up, or the bearing is not installed properly. Make sure you put that C-clip on. I'm not saying that bearing will back out, but there's a reason why they put the C-clip. C-clip has been there since in the 1900s, and fucking what, 1994, whatever the hell. Right? So do not forget your C-clip, guys. Do not forget. Next, we're gonna move on to our dust shield. In case you guys didn't catch the part number is 45256 S01000 for your dust shield screws. The sizing is going to be an M5 by 0.8 by 10 millimeters. You guys do not need to get OEM screws, guys. Go to Home Depot. They sell those exact screws. You will be fine. Nobody's going to know you have Home Depot screws, okay? If they ask you if they're OEM, how are they going to figure out if they're OEM or not? Anyways, here is the part number for the right front is 45255 S01000, and it's going to be the exact same screws, guys. Let's not make this complicated. It's very simple. This is where we are at. We're going to go ahead and press in our hubs, test fit our rotors, test fit our type arc calipers. Here are our 36 millimeter Carcep hubs. Let me go ahead and put you guys on a time lapse and we'll be back. Moving on to installing our Carcep 36 millimeter hubs, courtesy of Bobby from Tri-State. If you guys need any good deals, make sure you DM him. So, like I always said, make sure you use a little bit of high temp grease. Anything that'll help it go in easier, it'll be better in the long run. Trust me, you do not want to deal with any issues of the bearing popping out because there was too much friction, whatever the case may be. But what you're going to do is now you're going to go ahead and put the 36 millimeter hub into the bearing. Make sure it's at least somewhat straight. Don't worry, it's going to end up straightening it out. It's going to straighten out as soon as it starts going into the bearing because the bearing only goes straight. Come on, guys, let's not make this complicated, okay? Very easy. Find one of those caps that fit perfectly on top, then get another cap that fits in the other side with the rod that obviously you use with the kit. Feed it through the back of the knuckle assembly. Make sure you grab the piece on top, and then it's a 36 millimeter like earlier. Use your impact gun, and like I said, be careful when installing hubs, bearings, anything. Don't just go all the way out at the beginning. Go little by little. Pause. Pause on all this. Go little by little. May every time double checking, triple checking that the hub or bearing or whatever it is you're installing is going in correctly. Okay? Do not think that you're gonna get it in the first try, because if you think that, you're gonna end up messing it up. When you install them, you see how I'm starting little by little, because when you start installing it, you need the hub goes at a certain depth. If you go too far into the hub or into the bearing, the hub is not going to spin. It's gonna be barely above the ridge of where the bearing is installed onto. All right, guys, so we are finally done. Here are our rear trailing arms, new bushings, new dust shields, new hubs, new bearings, new paint. Same in the front, repainted knuckles, new dust shields, new hubs, new bearings, new lower ball joints, all that. So this is how they come out, guys. Really easy work. All right, guys, that's gonna be the end of this vlog. I hope I taught you guys something. Honestly, it's really easy work, right? Step by step. It's like a freaking adult's fucking Legos and shit, right? Just piece by piece. Very easy work, very easy work. So on the next vlog, we are hoping to have the EK back. I don't want to put together the brake setup and everything. I want to do like an individual vlog where I basically titled like Type R Mini Cooper brake, complete brake setup, I guess, for EG or EK. That's what I want to do. I only did the little how-to DIY video just to kind of pass time and to basically post something to kind of keep you guys updated, right? But for now, guys, thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Other than that, guys, like always, we're in this together. Keep your head up. I'll catch you guys on the next one.